Monday, August 5th, market analysis, Stan Ehrlich, and boy, do we have a day. As you are well aware, we gapped down. We dropped a lot overnight. In fact, the Tokyo market was the biggest down day in their history, I understand. So we've got a huge down day. Now what? When you have these kind of situations, it is oftentimes exhaustion, at least momentarily, if not longer term, weakness. The finish, the end of a break. But let's see what we got. So now today, the E-mini is oversold for the first time in quite a while, since last April. Now, we also, you're going to see here in a few minutes, some significant support areas tested. It's really interesting. Earlier today, I think we hit a minor low, and we're going to have a little bounce. A few days, then lower again very soon. Okay, so I can't pinpoint it on this particular chart, the E-mini September, as far as today's low of the wick, but we are well up into the middle of the range, and I could easily believe that there could be a rally back up to the, I don't know, 5401. Wouldn't surprise me. But keep in mind that would only be less than probably a 50% rally since the top of the market only in the middle of July, 3 weeks ago. No big deal. Standard percentage retracement ballpark, resistance area, and we are oversold at today's lows. I wouldn't be shocked. Don't know if it's going to happen. I think we're probably going to see a bit more weakness before that rally, but it could happen at any point, and maybe it's starting. Let's go to the next chart. So we've got the E-mini 1 minute. Okay, it looks like there's a little bit of a formation, maybe. I love head and shoulders, so if it has a low, I don't know, somewhere around in here at that price and turns back up, you've already got your neckline, blah, blah. But I'm doing it way too early, analyzing it, and that means there's very little likelihood of that happening. Next, we unbelievably reached my minimum downside objective in the SPY, the spider, in 2 days. Very accurately. I can't believe it. The shoulder high was a bearish engulfing AR sell signal on June 20th, which didn't work very well, but okay. The head of the formation was the highest high on July 16th, and the last shoulder low was only last Thursday with a bearish engulfing. I love those, bullish and bearish. And down it came, and on Friday, it actually broke the neckline. I've had that neckline drawn on there for a few days, broke the neckline, and today actually reached its minimum downside objective. Wow, in 2 days. Now, there's a few things I've got to say here. Big gap down, probably going to rally back up to the low of Friday soon this week or quickly, but that could be it. It could also maybe rally back up to the dashed yellow line, which is the neckline. That could stop it, those two spots. Or frankly, whenever it wants. But those, I got to pick those two. And okay. So any old point along the line, rallying should turn into a new low and break the downside objective we have met today, and probably go off down quite a bit more, frankly. Remember, I'm looking for a low in October. Hey, we're the very beginning of August here. We got 2 more months to go. So this week bounced somewhat, give or take a week. Could even be a little longer. And then new lows. How low? Remember, I'm ultimately looking for the green zone. And that would be give or take 470. We went down too fast, too quick, and that is what is important at the moment. Now, spider 1 minute chart, topped out. I don't know that this means too much. Pass. Daily QQQ also gap down into and through the bottom of a support area. And frankly, I can't pinpoint very well here. A stopping point a little lower than today's low, a little lower than today's wick. And it's bounced way back up at this particular point, back into the trading range and nearer to the high than the low. Again, it looks like today may be a minor low. Next, Qs. What is this? 1 minute. Now below support, into it, thrashing around, above it, bounced off of it, new high again, and now maybe it'll bounce off of it again. So again, some minor technical short-term support for a little bit of rally. NASDAQ dropped off to my objective to the downside way too early. I'm going to have to lower my major objective quite a bit here, and I'll do that research soon. But wow, how accurate. And it is now high and last. Oops, I'm sorry, back to here and well above the middle of the range. Oversold conditions. We had a fantastic, we sold the top of this market. If you're an investor, that signal to the top, at the top of the market, you did not believe it at the time. I know, been around there. Hedge fund manager, commodity broker, 35 years, stockbroker for a while, blah, blah, blah. So, next, NASDAQ, okay, I'm going to pass on that. The YM, we also got a sell signal on the top of the market to the exact day, July 18th. Huge break, like all the indexes, last 2.5 or so days. Touch support and a significant support level at that. It goes all the way back to last December. We break in, I think we're going to, this zone here and start closing below, okay, let's say 38,187, 38, 80, 70, 60, 38 area. Wow. That's going to be significantly bearish for the Dow Jones futures. Next, short-term few minute. There's our short sale at the top of the market on this 5-minute chart. Great trade. Wish I was still short, but you got to follow your disciplines. Next, Russell. Now, this is a different story. This, I'm going back to 2017. Sorry, 2017. So this red zone actually is the most profound support and resistance area I've seen in decades. So I can't tell you. I think there's a possibility it could drop all the way back down to 1776 and even a little under that. This appears to me, unfortunately, a little more bearish than I was expecting to come up with, to be a first leg down. So the second leg down is going to be a bounce back into resistance in red. Of course, the next wave down is something close to this bottom here. And then okay, fine. 5-wave, L8 wave, all that stuff. I learned L8 wave from Robert Prechter himself. He was a client of mine. Next, RT. Okay, don't want to say that. Bonds, important here. Why have bonds been going up like a rocket? Well, the stock market's dropping like a anvil. I am not a fundamentalist, nor do I want to be, but that might explain something here. Nevertheless, I don't believe that this inverted relationship is going to last long. We are now overbought in the interest rate futures, bonds, and notes. We are in the ballpark and pierced through a previous high, but not staying there. You know how I like new highs for quite a while, several weeks at least, a couple of months in, if not more, and the market does not close above those old highs. That's not a good sign. I don't call it necessarily a reversal, but I've seen it be the top of a rally many times, and I'm afraid that's what's in progress. So if that starts to work its way lower, I think it easily could come back to 120.5. That, I think, would cause the stock indexes to drop more, but We do have a current reverse relationship at the moment. 10-year notes into resistance, couldn't keep it, banged into it, back down here, down on the day, 6 ticks, net lower, failing to break out and stay there. This is very indicative of the way markets top out. I don't have any bearish engulfing ER sell signals yet. It is unlikely to get below yesterday's very big rally low. So, my opinion. Next, crude. New lows for the break. Stopped at that resistance line and resistance area in general, not very accurately, but in overbought conditions. Buy signal failed. New lows for a few days, now coming into another resistance and support area for 2 different reasons. We're almost oversold and we're approaching a bull trend line of some significance. I would not want to ignore a bull trend line that started and has been surviving fairly well for over a year. So previous lows are approaching, trend lines approaching, and oversold is approaching. Next, natural gas. Finally did exceed my minimum downside objective. Soon I'll erase the pattern and the objective and stuff, but you gotta leave it on a few minutes. So I'm still bearish, looking for lower lows in natural gas. Don't see any turning point yet. Next, what do I have here? Yeah, natural gas. So these are out of order. It looks like soybean meal, and it shouldn't be there. Sorry about that. I'll shift it over here and see if I can salvage this. Bing. Okay, and beans. Oil, that's good. So we're going back to natural gas, new lows, keep going. Heating oil, now oversold, touching a support area around previous lows. It's going to bounce. It's going to bounce back up to about 2.45. Next, gold, big down day, but came back fairly well at the moment. But remember, I've got these other bearish patterns working in silver and platinum. You're going to see it in a moment, which is great. And gold did not rally up through and to that resistance line. Instead, it chose to reverse the bearish engulfing yesterday and follow through with that normally bearish signal on a candlestick day-to-day basis. Good. I'm looking for a test of the downside level support at 2351. Next, wow. We have made it down to a support level almost dead to the tick on today's low of the wick, right? And it bounced fairly well, but I really don't want a lot of bounce because this head and shoulder top formation, which I've been talking about for well over 2 weeks, is working like clockwork, like it's written up in the books, and some of them I'm in. I had to mention that, sorry. Shoulder, head, shoulder, last shoulder, head and shoulder top in itself. It worked in 2 days. Big pattern, breakout, July 19th, minimum downside objective as a result, 2410. Today, new low for the move down into support area on the way down and getting oversold, has popped its way back out of the support area a little bit, not a lot. It's still under all the previous lows since the formation had a breakout to the downside in the first place. Great downside progress, too fast, too quick. Probably going to stall around in here and bounce around in here. It could be a few days, but I am looking for lower levels. Obviously, at any point, maybe the support area will try to be tested again. Next, platinum. That was silver. Working great. Platinum, same damn formation. Shoulder, April 12th, head of the formation. Yep, we sold the top of the market on an ER sell signal to the exact day. You saw it happen when I was recording this stuff on May 20th. Or maybe it didn't happen at the time of recording, the next trading day when I broadcast it, made the video. So the last shoulder is a head and shoulder in itself. And now finally, the minimum downside objective on the small last shoulder, again, a head and shoulder top in itself, has been fulfilled. End of story. The big patterns downside objective when it broke out on July 18th is down to 808 and small change. And we are making new lows for the move down completely today, not even quite oversold yet, in a support area. So it has a little more elbow room before it bounces again, I think. Fantastic. Next, high grade copper. New lows getting oversold again. It was between a rock and a hard spot. Looks like it's trying to break the rock. And it did break support a little, but it's hanging in there at the moment. So a little iffy as to whether it's going to bounce some, but I'm bearish definitely. Next, soybeans, oil, meal, corn, wheat, cattle, hogs, crypto, Bitcoin. We've got beans. It bounced up to a little resistance. It could bounce some more. There's nothing here that causes me to be bullish in any way, shape, or form, intermediate to long term. Short term, meaning a week or two, it could bounce more back up into 1084 and would not change the intermediate to long term trend at all. So I have to continue to basically be bearish. And I am bearish on all 4 out of 5 of the grain markets I'm covering. Let's go to soybean oil. New lows for the trend completely again. I don't know how low is low, but I can't ignore the fact that it is making these new lows periodically. We might even have a little cycle here. That's kind of interesting. It caught my eye. Low, low, low. That's probably too far away. But if you use that one instead, maybe that one fits and that, yeah, maybe not. Okay, next. Meal. Won't cooperate. Going sideways, no upside breakout, no downside breakout. We're right up against a little resistance, so slightly higher again. I don't know. I just kind of expected this thing to drop down a lot more several weeks ago, and it came back into the sideways range. Not very confident about my commentary here. Corn, bearish, bullish, engulfing for the first time again in a month. This could be a little more profound, but other than being an outside up day and oversold conditions for corn today, we remain to be seen whether it can really rally a lot. The last one didn't work. It made the next day a new low by about, I think, a half a cent or a penny or two, very small amount, and then went up a little. This one, we'll see what happens, but I've got one. You've got a fish by the tail. Let's see if you can hang on and make some money with it. Corn, new bullish engulfing today. Next, wheat did have one, July 31st. Now, that was the third one in about a 3-week, 2-week period. I keep telling you people that the signals I get are many, many times the top and the bottom of a major move in both directions. But sometimes they are part of the process of building tops and bottoms. And I hope one of those signals being the exact high and low, which is the case here in wheat. We have a little bit of a new high, a lower low, and currently we are lower by 3 cents or so. Minor bearish engulfing. I hope it doesn't work. Closing above today's high would be great. I am expecting that because of the bullish engulfing buy signal on July 31st, and today's low didn't kill that. So we're still in business. You can see my stop is still trailing around the low of the signal day. Let's see what happens. Wow, a crash in cattle. Big, huge down day again, 3 days in a row. Hit a bullish engulfing, hit a trend line, bullish trend line, and currently has bounced up above it. Oversold condition, second day in a row. probably ready for a bounce back up to approximately 182, but that's about the best I can expect. This is doing significant damage to this trend. Probably intermediate to longer term looking for lower lows. Right now, oversold and could bounce some. This piggy could be forming a head and shoulder bottom. We'll talk about this later. I do like the fact that it's trading near its high after making new lows for a couple of weeks in terms of maybe this is a low. The other low here is part of a shoulder, and that one also, obviously, the potential head. And have we got two lows here yet? I don't know. That's what intrigues me. I see that too low, and there we have two lows. We have a dead flat neckline, unusual, but still textbook. Interesting. Next, Bitcoin. Gap down huge. Well, we had fun. We had a little bit of a rally out of that one. And back to the E-mini. I just want to point out what kind of gains and losses since we started talking. A little resistance line was basically hit again. Pull back. I can't see any bottom here yet. Possibilities, but nothing yet. Nope. Sorry. Objective fulfilled. Bounce possible, plausible, maybe even likely. No. Maybe. It comes up always maybe. You guys have a great trading day. Profitable trading to you.